Hello, viewers.
Welcome to Fleet Action Report, episode 21. We're now legal to drink, right? Or something like that. Enemies Part 4.
That one I was not expecting. Good job. Good job, partner. I'm Nikodas.
I'm Grebog with apparently jokes because I'm just me.
We have no guests today, so it's just us, viewers. Glad to have you with us, as always. In the past week, I am still recovering from surgery, but it's getting much better. Easier to sit up, walk, do all the normal things. Probably be going back to work in the next week or so, so got that to look forward to. Game wise, just kind of normal stuff. Still haven't gotten my PS5 yet. Sad panda, waiting on that. You would think these game companies would figure this out. It's like every time they come up with a new system, they never put enough out there in the market. So there's always people like me that are, twiddling their thumbs and waiting, or getting, the extra high prices on eBay or whatnot, where they more than double the price if you want one that desperately. I'm not there yet. What about you, Greybog? What you been up to?
Um, Realize that I have less time to get raid ready for World of Warcraft because apparently a week from tomorrow the raid opens and I'm not even 60 yet. So we'll see. Other than that, I've been doing a lot of D&D world building and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've spent a considerable amount of time doing that. I
Well, you say
have,
even less time for that. We get our first game in that new world in just a couple days here.
yeah. Though playing WoW, I have learned that when I hurt myself, apparently I hurt my hand more than I thought I did. The longer I play, the more discomfort I have, and yeah. So I have gone. That's partially why I hadn't started playing immediately when WoW started its expansion. However, now I have to make sure to limit my play so I don't overdo it and then damage my hand to not play. Um, yeah. Other than that, it's been good. It's good. Good week or something. Busy week. Good
Well,
week.
might have been busy for you and I, but it has not been busy in STO.
What do you mean? We had
Uh,
events.
yeah, but they all ended today.
Uh,
Um, except the Phoenix Prize Pack, which apparently ends
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Tuesday and Thursday seems to be the 2 days, or I guess technically Monday, Thursday, whatever. The 2 days they like to have things end. So,
So you can still go and get the free Phoenix Prize Packs from Drazana Station or Deep Space Nine. So if you haven't got them yet, you got a couple days to get some freebies. And again, they do have the experimental upgrades in those prize packs if you're lucky enough to get a high enough one and you don't want to ship instead.
yep. It's an ultra rare that you would need, and you do get two tokens. I know we speculated that it would probably be two because of the price point that they were putting on the ultra rare items, and yeah, it made sense. So
But it is two.
it
We know
is
that
two.
for a fact now. But the big announcement was made just today, and that's Q's Winter Wonderland. This is our typical winter event, holiday event, Christmas event in STO. It's going to run from the 8th of December to January 7th, so almost a full month there.
And typically, you only it probably told us in the thing on how many completions you needed to get the big bad new Fekleri Goktad carrier. It's if they give us a full month, it's typically you need a week shy of the full month. Let's see, daily progress. I'm not seeing the
I don't
number.
think it. Yeah, it didn't mention it in the write up this time.
If they give us
But
4 weeks,
plan on,
I was like, if they give us 4 weeks, typically you only need to complete it 3 weeks worth.
and then the last week they give you a bunch of dilithium if you continue to do the event.
Yeah.
So have that to look forward to. So tell us about this event, Grebog. What type of things do you do in this one?
You don't take part in this one much, do you?
I'm
From what
planning on it this year, but I have not in the past. No.
typically there is always a free ship involved. This year it's a carrier, so I mean it. Not a super shocking for the fact that they just put in all the other carriers like for the other factions. So the fact that they made this a carrier, not really that surprising, but for those that aren't wanting a carrier, it doesn't, it's not a ship for you then. um, but
Although we
normally,
don't know much about it, like we don't know what the trade is or what the stats are or anything like that. Although being a full carrier and probably the upgrade of the old Tier 5 Fekleri carrier, you can assume it's a science-based ship.
yeah, and there's a lot going on. Like what? Well, this event's great for getting appearances. Because there's all kinds of ugly sweaters. There's all kinds of other appearances and coats and stuff. They're also adding in a purple nano pulse batleth, or as some people would say, a lightsaber batleth. And this time you get an item that you can use. It sounds like it has so many charges and then it will disappear, or maybe it's a once and done. And it's Q's chair. So you can sit in Q's chair if you want.
And lord over the fate of humanity. Or, I mean,
Yeah. They're adding in some bridge officer training manuals for themed around Grethor. They're also adding the best. This is to me probably, and for Tabitha probably too, one of the ones I actually do want out of the whole set more than the Batleth's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'll probably make sure to get that too, but the Rescue Saint Bernard pet. And depending upon your faction will depend on whether it has the Klingon symbol on the barrel under its chin or if it has the Federation symbol. So, to get to Q's Winter Wonderland, you have to find Q, which for Federation is Earth Space Dock. He is always out there on the big emblem, the big circle emblem that is not far from the exchange. And if you miss him, you're probably blind because he has two big guys dancing next to him.
I am going to interrupt for just 1 second. In the write-up they released today, they have said that is not necessary. You can transwarp straight to the event just by using the in-game event tab.
Well, hey. Well, that's different.
That's new. They said Q finally allowed them to do it.
Q finally allowed them. Okay, well, So
makes it easier for people to participate.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people were confused on where to find Q, and if you don't know, you won't. I don't know if you're not going to Earth Space Dock and run around, you may never see him, or if you, I don't know. There's a chance you wouldn't see him, and so people would miss when it starts. Though now you can get there no matter how you want to go. So for the events, they have added and added and added things over time, and so there are several of them that give you all kinds of rewards. Now, the one that gives you, well, I think they might have changed this so that these all can give you a reward. Let's see, but daily progress towards earning your new ship can be obtained by participating. Yep, all of them, any of them. Doesn't matter. You can do them, any of the events. You don't have to just do. That used to be only from the foot race. There is, and let's see. It was called, I think, Ice Race Daily. I called it the Ice Race Daily. Fastest game on ice. Essentially, you challenged another person, NPC thing, and it would race you around. there were tricks on how you could do it faster. And one of those tricks is if you know how to do a barrel roll or like a dive forward or sideways, you could run as fast, straight line ahead, and then right before you turn, you roll. So that way you rolled and stopped. Because as soon as you got out of the roll, you would stand up and you would be stopped. That was one of the tricks to go faster. But then they also have what I call Protect Gingerbread Village. It is cones of conduct, and there's these candy things that are attacking. You have to break them apart, and you basically eventually summon the giant snow cone guy, and you have to kill him. Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of confusing the first time you do it, so don't panic if you've not done it and you get confused. Um, then there is a competitive foot race, and you are going against other players, and this is called the Fast and the Furious, I think. They have, yeah, there's two foot races. I might have mixed up their names, but essentially you are doing a special course and you are racing other players. Think of kind of like how you race other players in the Ryza type stuff. So, and then we have, I called it Attack of the Snowborg, which is called Tides of Ice. There are 3 lanes, and they come down the 3 different lanes, and you have to defeat them before they get to the castle on the one end. You work with a team, and you just, yeah, you melt the snowmen, essentially. Eventually, I think the Snow Queen shows up, or the Borg Queen, the Borg Snow Queen shows up, and you have to defeat her. One of the newer ones is Klingon ice fishing, which I think it took me a while to understand. First, you need one of the Klingon gauntlets. You can get those fairly cheap. I think the first one might just be credits that you can buy it, so that way you can just participate. And then the rest of them, you have to use some of the rewards that you're picking up from doing the other stuff. So, but I don't know that there's a benefit to the gauntlet other than they have different qualities. Maybe it takes less punching to get through the ice. But you will notice a darkened patch here and there on the pond that will have basically fish swimming underneath of it. You essentially just start punching the ice until you break through. That's all it is. And then you will grab a fish, and there's a big, I guess, bowl that you take your giant Swedish fish, at least that's what it looks like to me, and you toss it into the bowl. There is also one of the new things is they added in the world boss, as I call it. It's Cramp Leary. He is a giant. He's essentially Krampus, but Fekleary style. And will attack, and you have to fight him and defeat him. Just defeating him will help get rewards for you and everyone else that helped defeat him. So. But some of the stuff, well, I kind of briefly showed when I was on Drasana Station. There are some special rewards or special weapons that you should use while doing these events. You can pick those up there, and some of those are things like I have here on me, the Caramel Assault, and it essentially I shoot liquid caramel that will either there's like the 2 different fires. One's a caramel splat and one's a caramel explosion. The explosion does a bigger AoE, and yeah, each one has something like that. They have a single shot and then they have an AoE. So, but there are a variety of guns. Like there's a snowball launcher, the avalanche.
I've got that pulled up right now for him.
But you can do all kinds of, I don't know. You can just get different types of guns. People use different types of guns. They add new ones in every so often. I didn't notice them mention any new ones this year, so you might just have has been there for years. So but they're fun to have, fun to use,
And they help.
and they help. They do more damage than. Okay, if you don't have any of that, you can still use your standard phaser pistols and stuff like that. They will do damage, not as much damage though as the special ones that like the caramel launcher or and the avalanche. Those will do more damage against the snowmen. So you're not out of the you can still do stuff until you can afford to buy one of those. That's, I think, pretty much everything. There's just a lot that goes on. Um,
Well, and it'll start next week, and we'll go over it again then.
yeah,
I'm sure we'll have more details out by then, especially about that carrier.
the carrier.
All right, guys. So, enemies, part 4. Today we are focusing on a group of enemies that kind of hang around Romulan space. Our first target for today are visitors from the Delta Quadrant, and these are going to be the Hirogen. We're going to go ahead and start a mission here. Now, we're not going to run all the way through this. We're just going to do the portion with the Hirogen, which is right at the beginning. So let's go ahead and start Revolution here. Hirogen were introduced in Voyager as Delta Quadrant hunters. They have a lot of similarities with the Yatja or the Predators from the Predator and Alien franchise. There was a rumor for a while that the showrunners actually wanted to add the Yatja in, but were turned down, so they came up with their own race instead. Now, I don't know how true that is. It was a rumor flying around when the Hirogen were first introduced.
Intruding Vaadwaur ships. You have trespassed. This is ours.
So we're going to do a little bit of a space battle here. So the hunters have a variety of ships. As you can see, they hit pretty hard. They use Tetrion-based weaponry, which has a habit of draining shields. We're seeing some frigates. Oh, and they got me. We've got frigates here. We've got an escort, the hunter escort. We've got a cruiser over here. They also have dreadnoughts, but I don't know if we'll see any of those in this mission or not.
I don't remember them being this tough.
Well, to be fair, I think we're playing on advanced. Might want to change that for the next one. I wanted to see what it was like playing on advanced settings, so I upped mine a few days ago.
Tractor beam.
Oh, it's weird having the Vaadwaur fight with us.
There are friends.
There we go. Okay, so that was a short little space battle there. The Hirogen used to have more missions in the game involving them. In the STO storyline, Sela gets chased out of power by Taurus, and she runs all the way to the Delta Quadrant where she meets up with the Hirogen. She convinces them to come back to the Alpha Quadrant with her, or the Beta Quadrant with her, and basically she promises them new hunting grounds if they help her return to power. So they come back, they help her regain power, they oust Taurus, and then they just kind of start annoying people in the Alpha and Beta Quadrants. There used to be a lot more missions in the Romulan arc that involve the Hirogen. Most of them are gone now. Same with patrols. There used to be more patrols in the game that involve them. Most of those have been removed. Hopefully, at some point in time, they will come back. Although, when they introduced Delta Rising and the access to the Delta Quadrant, we did see the Hirogen kind of in their home environment, which is kind of where we are now. So both in space and ground, they use Tetrion weapons, which again have a drain effect. On ground-based combat, they tend to use large, powerful weapons. They will sometimes stealth.
Here, I'll bring up my new friends.
I could do that too, but I'll let you have your fun this time.
He's so big. Or she. I guess I didn't check.
We're going to try and take over this ship here.
Try.
Well, I do have an engineer with me, I suppose. Of course, it's a matter of finding the right thing to click on here.
Yeah, I was just like... I'm not... There. Here, I'll just point blank shot, you know, here.
There is a mission Klingon side called Alpha that deals a lot with the Hirogen. So you guys might see him over there too. If you play Klingon side.
I don't know what I'm touching. I'm gonna guess it was this thing.
Probably. Since it beamed out. Okay, now we're gonna go to the Vodwar ship.
There are friends. Friends.
And then we blow up the Hirogen ship. Kablooey.
They cannot escape this system.
Oh, we have Benthans.
What the heck is wrong? Oh, I'm not in my ship.
Nope.
I'm like, what the heck's wrong with my bars and setup?
To disable the Benthan ship. There we go. Alright guys, so as soon as we can, we're going to go ahead and warp out here. I'm not going to ruin this mission for anybody else. We just wanted to highlight, and there, I got my warp out. Just wanted to highlight the Hirogen. Like I said, there used to be more missions with them in there, but our pickings were pretty slim on what to show you guys.
Argala space patrol will let you. Oh, my ship's damaged.
Oh, so am I. What do you know? Can I do some repairs? Yes, I can. Okay, so repairs done. All right, so let's see. They going back to being hunters, they will take trophies from worthy prey. They show that again in Voyager, not so much in STO. And I think that covers everything on the Hirogen. Okay, so our second group, I mentioned Taurus. Let's go ahead and transwarp over to Taurus here. Taurus was introduced in Star Trek Nemesis. She's the Romulan that made friends with Picard. In STO, she becomes Empress before Sela. It kind of takes power from Sela, makes Sela run off. But her power base were actually the Remans. she made friends with the Remans, kind of the first Romulan to do so. So she's got a very loyal Reman following. Um, this is one of the few missions in game where you can actually fight against the Remans. When they introduced the Romulan Republic and playable Remans, they took out several of the missions where you fought them. But this one's still here. Are you over here, Grebog?
I thought it was.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and begin. Are in your massive, massive ship.
To be working with you. Agents working. Taurus.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
All right, so this is the Hobus system. This is where the star went supernova that destroyed Romulus and Remus. This is not the Romulan system. This is Hobus. It's just a nearby system. So in space, the Remans use Romulan ships and weapons, so a lot of plasma. They do have cloaking devices, and like all Romulan ships, they have battle cloaks, although the NPC-controlled ships rarely use that. And here we go.
Dun dun dun.
There they are.
Huh. One of the other it is. It's like my bars are all messed up still from swapping ships, and I'm like trying to find where's my evasive maneuvers.
It measures up. It kept mine.
It messed mine all up. Oh hey, I should probably do this too.
So, just a little background on the Remans. They were mentioned in The Next Generation, but we didn't get to see the Remans until the movie Star Trek Nemesis came out. And we got a little bit more details about them as far as Remus being the sister world to Romulus. It was in the 2016 Star Trek, Romulus and Remus were destroyed by the Hobus supernova, which is in-game what you're seeing here. The Remans are a psionic race. They can use their psionic powers to detect bodily injury, maybe heal some bodily injury, and they can also use it to cause harm or pain to their enemies. In-game, most of that is regulated to a simple psionic attack. It's pretty cool if you play a Reman, though. Used to be able to beam down through that shield and do some ground fighting. We don't really do that anymore. Ship fight.
We ship fight.
And we got them at the same time. That's a little weird. So in lore, the Remans are basically a slave race to most of the Romulans. In STO, they end up being hunted by the Elachi on their colony worlds. Those that don't serve the Tal Shiar as slaves basically become enemies. When Sela regains power from Taurus, she pretty much ignores the Remans. She doesn't really treat them quite as bad as like the Tal Shiar does, but she doesn't treat them as citizens either. She basically just ignores them. One of my favorite characters in STO, though, one of my favorite NPCs is a Reman named Obasek, who is kind of leading a Reman resistance to kind of get freedom for his people. He eventually teams up with Datan on New Romulus, and the Remans more or less get their happy ending. To see exactly how that rolls, you'll have to play the game.
I believe it started in the movie that the Remans were more of a mining race. They were very heavily involved in mining. The reason I say that is because I believe one ship that is used as the, I guess, the MacGuffin was a modified mining ship that they had.
Actually, that was a Romulan captain. That was Nero that had that. I'm not sure if it's ever stated if he's in a Reman designed ship, though. We have enemies. They're up above us.
I can't turn fast enough to get there, man. That's the drawback to this ship.
Go. Beam down, finally.
Guess
I
we
got
don't
both
need.
my science guys.
Well, that's why I swapped my healer out.
Yeah, I got my debuffer and my healer, so we should be good. Alright, so you saw the space battles. Again, it's very much like fighting Romulans. Plasma weapons and all.
I mean, it's not going to be that shocking that they're going to fight very much like Romulans. That's an interesting way to have your cloak there, but anyway. I mean, they use a lot of the same weapons. They're going to use a lot of the same tactics and such. So
those purple beams or purple shots that are coming out of this guy's head, that is their psionic attack. They're still using Romulan plasma weaponry. The psionic attack will bypass shields, so you kind of have to watch out for that.
psionics. Sure, we'll access ship logs. Da 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 da.
Unlock doors. Oops.
Uh-oh, what's the code? I mean, you can literally...
There we go. It's Psi and then Omicron. More Remans. Oh, so we have our commander here, Aranu. Sounds like the name of a spider, Aranu.
Okay, I'll squish him like a spider. But yes, they typically seem to use the purple to indicate the psionic stuff.
And there's Taurus, who just got overrun by her own Remans.
Traitors.
Interesting picture there for the gateway. Showed the Guardian of Forever, which isn't actually in-game anymore. Oh, now we gotta fight Taurus.
She's standing on the console.
She was trying to jump away from us. Collect evidence.
All the evidence. We need everything. Grab it all.
Here's this back here. There's the proto-matter. Techosite.
And there's that one. Now we get to
up.
overload it. I keep having it interact when I'm near the gateway.
Yeah, and it's all glowy, but that's alright. We're gonna blow it up, so it won't matter. And our poor Targs get left behind.
It's fine.
Well, one of them is a Targ of Grethor, so strictly speaking, he's already dead. Oh, hey, look, more Reman ships. Now the big one, is a Reman warbird.
How nice to see you.
And there's Sela.
But you played the pawn perfect. Taurus, you are a disappointment.
Oh, she decided not to fight.
What'd you do?
Wasn't me. Apparently, it was all the other ships that showed up. I haven't ran this mission in quite a while, so. Okay, looks like we're done with Taurus. Alright, so that should cover the Remans there. Let's go ahead and transwarp over to the last one here. So our last group of enemies that we wanted to cover today is the Elachi. And the Elachi is a very, very interesting race. They started off as an unnamed enemy that was introduced in Enterprise. It's actually one of my favorite episodes of Enterprise. It's where they develop the phase cannons. Because they're so overwhelmed and outmatched by this unnamed enemy who's just kind of toying with them, that they decide they need an upgrade to their weapon system. So, and it kind of works. And now we get a fight again. Yay. More Romulans.
More Romulans.
Oh, and he got me in a tractor beam. Good thing I've got my Gamma here. Attack pattern Gamma. Or Omega. Omega gets rid of that. Oops. Alright. Now we come through here. We go to the planet. And we'll beam down. I'm going to take my same two.
So is that a challenge? Here, we'll take this one instead.
So, when they are introduced in Enterprise, it seems like hand phasers don't really affect them, which oddly enough is the same sort of weapon that Katis here is using. They play with the Enterprise crew. They seem to really enjoy tormenting the less advanced species. They do have advanced technology. They have shields, which Enterprise doesn't have yet, so on and so forth. So they're more advanced at that time frame. Now in STO, they took that unnamed enemy. They gave him a name, called him the Elachi, and they basically turned him into heralds for the demons of air and darkness, and we'll get to them at a later time. But when the Romulan Republic was introduced, the Elachi returned as kind of a ally of the Tau Shiar or servant of the Tau Shiar, maybe.
Some pawn.
Yeah, something like that. And both races, both the Tau Shiar and the Elachi, are working for the demons of air and darkness. Um, but here we go. We get to beam up now.
So why'd we come down?
We were talking to them, trying to convince them if. Basically, they tell us that weird things have been happening, and we're trying to decide if they're going to join the Romulan Republic or the Tau Shiar. And I told them to join the Republic. Oh, and look, now we have help from the Remans. Go figure. The Remans that we just ended up trying to kill in our previous mission. Oh, there's another Romulan ship. Where did that come from?
It's stealthed in.
Okay, there we go. Now we got to get back through the shield.
Of course, we have to fit back through the hole.
Yeah.
I'm turning.
You and your big ship. Go warp to Viranat. So they end up, the Elachi end up going to various Reman and Romulan colonies, areas that have not sworn allegiance to either the either the Tau Shiar or the Romulan Empire, and basically start abducting citizens.
Yeah.
And eventually the Romulan Republic, when they start building their own ships, they end up with the ability to fight back, and then they call on their new allies, hello Federation, hello Klingons, to fight for them, and the Elachi kind of becomes a bigger threat. And then with the introduction of Discovery, some of the Discovery items and technology into STO, they also decided that the Elachi would be from the mycelial network. So they are a race native to that kind of subspace domain, or alternate, not really alternate reality, but sub-reality, I guess. Along with some other races that were introduced in Discovery. I have no idea if the shows are going to make that canon or not. Right now it's kind of a soft canon until such time that any of the currently running shows say otherwise. But they seem to be doing a fairly decent job. There, you got two of them this time. So bring your healer and somebody else, and I'll bring my debuffer.
Sure.
I thought that was interesting that they made him part of the mycelial network, especially since that's still a fairly new thing in the greater Star Trek universe, and we don't really know yet what's going to happen to that network in Discovery, although Discovery is like 700 years further in the future than where we're at in STO, so who really knows?
It'll be fine, I'm sure. It is a fascinating, I guess, alternative possibility. Though they also in story hint that the Elachi had a different origin before they were part of the mycelial network?
I don't know. That's certainly a possibility, but the Jasep, I believe they're called, when you go into the network and you talk to the Jasep, they explain that the Elachi are from the network. So,
well, I swore that, maybe I'm wrong, maybe people listening know better, I swore that they had said that the Elachi were once Romulans that had slipped into the mycelial network and began to live there, and as the time went, it changed into the Elachi they are today.
that could be. I would have to look that up to know for certain. I do know that the part of the reason they end up taking Romulan and Reman citizens is to turn them into more Elachi. It's how the race breeds, I suppose would be the term there. It's almost more of a self-replicating thing, but they have to have a humanoid species to do it. It's a little weird. Oh yeah, you're really good about bringing your boars out. I'm not, or your targs. Okay,
Well, I
so
mean,
what are we? Oh, scan colonist. And that's actually what this mission is about. Not so much going into the mycelial network, but we are finding out that the Elachi are the ones that have been attacking these colonies and whatnot. Maybe on the orders of the Tau Shiar, maybe not.
I
So
would say one
hopefully-
way or the other, the Tal Shiar manipulated them. Whether they are full on, yeah.
Well, I mean, it says in game again. The Josep, as you're talking to them, she explains that they were brought out of the network by the Iconians to kind of serve the Iconians. I would kind of be curious to know like what the Iconians said to them to make them leave the network. But in any case, they are brought out and they kind of become, the servants of the demons and of air and darkness, as many of the other races end up calling them.
So if you start a Romulan or Reman character, this is the actual colony that you start in. There is a lot of replay in this that you are doing, but it's different when you start this as the Romulan Reman character.
Yeah, it's much nicer.
It's before all the bad stuff happened.
I believe we're going to fight some Elachi here once we get out of this area, which is kind of what I'm hoping for.
Like, here's where you picked up your first pistol, and then you shot the targets that were over on the boards.
Yeah, this is Veronat. You're not wrong. So as the Romulan character, you start here and you see the beginning of the attack, and then as a Federation character, you come here after the fact and see what is left of the colony. Kind of have to play both sides. I don't believe the Romulan story brings you back here. I believe you have to play on a Federation or Klingon.
Citizen, when the
And there's Sela again. Good old
I
Sela.
thought you had to come back here to prove that this stuff was just all... There was no weapons or whatever, because, like... So the Tal
That's what
Shiar
really
is...
what-
Well, yeah, it was like... And Tal Shiar claims, oh, hey, they had weapons here and blah, blah, blah. And we're here to investigate that. And...
Well, maybe they do.
I
Maybe I'm wrong.
I swore my Reman captain did that again, and it was interesting going back.
That might be the one where don't you get ambushed by some Klingons? Maybe you're right.
Yes, you get ambushed by some Klingons. They don't trust that you're going to get accurate readings. I would imagine if you are a KDF Romulan or Reman captain, you would get ambushed by Federation.
I need to play my Klingon aligned Reman a little bit more than what I do. Maybe
I
would
was
not be
hoping
confused about some of these.
I was hoping that they would open up some of the one of the faction, like the recruits again. Because if they did, what was it? Delta? Not Delta. Recruit Gamma. I don't know. I can't remember which one the Remans were typically when they first put them in.
What do you mean?
Oh, I thought one of the recruits didn't Romulan Remans. They were once one brought in right around the time of one. It might have been Delta recruits. I don't know.
I think they redid it. It might have been Gamma. or temporal. Might have been the temporal.
Temporal were the when K-13 and the original series people were brought in.
We are grateful beyond. Glad you could join us. Concentrate fire on their command ship.
Okay, so here we go. So here's where we get some Elachi. So we've got dreadnoughts in here, we've got frigates. This is going to be kind of a big space battle.
And hazardous.
Yeah.
They have what you notice. They'll have these big cones that do crap tons of damage if you get hit by it. Of course, I just die anyway. So.
Ooh, that hurt.
So that big cone there that you're seeing,
That I'm trying to stay out of.
it will do massive damage to you if you get caught in it. Engineers might be able to take the beating if they have the right cooldowns and stuff ready to go. But you have to be ready for it. Brace for impact is probably definitely a requirement if you're gonna try to take it.
They also will teleport, which is very similar to the spore drive that Discovery has, where they kind of teleport all across the battlefield. Being from the mycelial network kind of makes sense, I suppose.
Which might be why they gave them that link to the mycelial network. Not saying that they would ever do that after, like, oh hey, we didn't have a reason for it before, but we do now. I could be wrong.
But one of the dreadnoughts is down.
I've taken out several somethings. I don't know.
Fighting that dreadnought was like fighting you, man. It's a little tough.
But I'm soft on the inside. Drop that, drop that. Do.
As you just saw in space, the Elachi use disruptor weapons, which has an innate debuff that makes you take more damage the longer it goes. They do the teleport, they do the cone effect. I think that's pretty much it for space. We did not face them on the ground there. I kind of thought that mission had a ground combat in it. It did not. On ground combat, the Elachi, they have very strong shields, but very low hit points. So if you can use an attack that bypasses shields, like melee attacks or a physical attack, you'll take them down faster. They again use disruptor weapons. They summon drones as well. They have flying drones, and they have these little walkers that walk around and throw out gas everywhere.
Yeah, the gas drones. They have also, they're the ones, like, if you've watched me use my mines when I'm on the ground and how they chase people, they have those as well. So, yeah, they will put these mines down sometimes that will come at you.
We are almost out of time for our show today. I think maybe for our next enemies, I might revisit the Elachi. Maybe we'll play on the Romulan side. I know there's some Romulan missions where you do ground battle with them, and we can cover that a little bit more before we move on to some other targets. The research I did ahead of this, I feel really bad because I could have sworn the research I read said there was a ground battle with the Elachi here. So I'm a little disappointed that there wasn't.
In Wastelands, there is a mission there that has a ground battle. If you know what remember which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, over there on
You have to
oh,
go
I
into
can't
the
even think.
tower.
Nimbus. On
Yeah.
Nimbus, yes. There's one. Like I said, on the Romulan side, I know there's some, so I may revisit the Elachi so we can show our viewers some ground combat before we move on to other targets. I need to work on my Romulan character anyway, so that gives me an excuse.
Romulans? What?
So next week, guys, we're going to do something a little bit different from what we've done before. We are going to do a deep dive into builds. This is going to be another series that we're going to do on this show from time to time to cover our builds and then what a lot of the community believes to be the best builds. Kind of give our viewers a leg up. So next week, the big one that we're going to cover is what is referred to as the aux to bat build, or auxiliary to battery, or A to B. So if you've seen people talking about that and are curious, we're going to cover that next week. And then I might go over my current build a little bit with you guys, which uses the entwined tactical matrices to get some heavy damage off of torpedoes and a free run of fire at will. So we're going to do some deep dives into builds, and that'll be next week, guys.
Builds. There's so many of them out there, and everyone's got one.
Well, there's aux to bat, there's beam overload, there's fire at will, there's hybrid builds, which a lot of the quote experts unquote will tell you not to do, which is basically what I'm doing. Might explain why I got blown up so much last week for our PvP. I'll have to fix that. I am working on another ship to fix my build there, going more of a heavy damage beam overload build, but I am missing some of the traits I need, so I got to work on that. But yeah, so next week we're going to do a deep dive on builds, guys. Please join us. As always, I'll leave you with the final words that Q says to Picard. See you out there.
Live long and prosper.